And welcome to Addiction Universe, brought to you by PillAddicts.com. Check out our forum, log on. I'm here. My name is Al. We're here with Dr. Ed and Lenny.
Lenny.
Say what's up, guys.
What's going on?
Nothing.
It's another night, another show, and, we're basically get it ready. Get your questions out there on the forum on PillAddicts.com. We're here to answer questions and discuss all topics pertaining to and having anything to do with pills and or drugs in general. We're going to have some good time and help some kids tonight, hopefully. You know what I mean? So it should be
Pretty
a good
interesting.
time either way. So, it'll be great.
Well, hello, everyone. This is Eddie, and our main topic of discussion tonight will be pill addiction. And just want to wish everybody a Happy New Year.
Yeah, definitely a Happy New Year.
Happy
How,
healthy.
you guys celebrated too much? Who went overboard here celebrating? Anybody?
Not me this year.
No, not really.
No, I just did a little rosé too, so nothing too crazy like the other,
Years before.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a celebration unless someone's holding onto the floor to prevent them from falling down.
Or swimming in their vomit. Either or.
Yeah, one or the other, right?
Well, today we're going to be talking about pill addiction. Like I
Where's
said
my bourbon?
before.
Pill addiction. All right.
And our first topic will be...
Unfortunately, that's a popular topic these days amongst a lot of people, pill addiction. And it's been sweeping across this city and the country in general like a fucking plague.
Yeah.
So, it's some serious stuff. I'm pretty sure everyone knows at least one or two people that have been affected by this. And I personally, this is a topic that strikes close to heart because I've lost a lot of friends to this. And, it really changes people.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people who are desperate to end this whole cycle of destruction but just don't know where to start or perhaps don't know how to go about it, So, we're going to get the information out there. We're going to help some kids. Let's, begin by, I guess, what topic are we starting up now?
Actually, it's not only kids. It's a lot of
adults.
adults as well. You wouldn't believe the people that are taking pills these days. And I'm not only talking about narcotic pills. I mean, pills from all types of pills, from diet pills, for any kind of pill out there. But our topic, of course, is narcotic pills like Oxys and Roxys and Vicodins and Percocets and Xanax, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
A lot of the opiate stuff, basically.
Exactly.
Well,
You're a heroin addict.
The uppers like Adderall and Vyvanse, that's still
Well, the list
pretty
just
hot.
keeps going and going.
Oh, listen.
Unfortunately, pharmaceutical companies are getting rich, and people are dying every single day, getting hooked on their legally
Doctors
prescribed
became
narcotics.
Yeah, doctors became legal drug
Unacceptable.
dealers pretty much.
Exactly.
Day and age, so.
Anyways, our first topic today will be doctor shopping. Let me just give you a little brief explanation of what doctor shopping is. The next big thing out there has been the biggest thing in probably the past 5 to 7 years is people going to pill clinics. Obviously, Florida is the most infamous state for the pill clinics.
Oh, yes. There was a documentary that came out, I've seen, I believe, on Current TV. It's called the OxyContin Express.
Yeah,
You
we
guys-
have it on the
We
on
actually
the
have the
forum.
link. We have the link on PillAddicts.com
Yeah,
forums.
that was a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, it's a big problem out there because what they do is they bring doctors out of retirement to write these prescriptions, and this is just the market, especially in Broward County, like they said, is just flooded with pills.
Absolutely. Well, the thing is this: this plague or this epidemic is hitting it's hitting us, at home right here in New York. People you wouldn't believe are going to these pill doctors and doing doctor shopping. They're going from doctor to doctor. They're using their health insurance, and majority of these people are unemployed. And what they are doing is they're using their Medicaid or whatever insurance they have at the time for their first doctor's visit, and then every doctor visit after that they're paying cash. From my understanding, this hasn't been monitored for many years, but now the DEA and the FBI and the pharmaceutical companies and everybody who gives a shit is starting to
Realize.
keep tabs and starting to realize what's going on. These people are overusing these pharmaceutical narcotics, and they're also dispensing them and selling them on the streets, which is what is leading to this epidemic.
Yeah, there's a lot of cash in that market.
Oh, cash and crime rate has gone up.
Yeah, definitely the crime rate, too.
200%.
I mean, a lot of the, how Bloomberg announces that murders went down in the city. the fact of the matter is, a lot of other stuff like robberies, armed robberies, and burglaries, those
Quick
things
cash,
went
yeah,
up.
quick
And those,
cash.
I think, are a direct effect and directly affected
By the pills.
by the whole pill epidemic. Absolutely, I can completely agree with that.
Well, the problem is it's not only hitting the poor communities. This is a problem in all communities, all classes.
Oh yeah, we
Whether
got all
you're-
the celebrities overdosing.
Exactly. Whether you're poor, middle class, or
Rich.
filthy rich, it doesn't really matter. Somebody has a pill in their, in their pill cabinet, and their people's, kids are taking them. Like I said before, adults are taking them.
Yeah, don't the rich kids call it a farm party or something where they mix everybody's
Exactly,
pills, whatever they could
exactly.
collect
And,
in one bowl?
And the sad thing is that people don't understand the effect that it has on you. It is a synthetic form of heroin when you're taking a Percocet or a Roxicet or any oxy or any opiate at that.
You're a heroin addict.
So if you think you're just taking it for shits and giggles for fun, at first it might seem like it is.
It's sold as a little innocent pill, which is not actually cooking and buying it off a drug dealer. You're actually just taking a little pill and putting it in your stomach and
Take a little Vicodin tonight, take some codeine, smoke a little heroin.
Yeah, but what people fail to understand, it is very addicting and very expensive.
Yeah.
And eventually the money will run out and you will turn to heroin. And obviously you know what happens from there on out.
Oh yeah, you become a junkie.
Exactly. That's either that or you're going to be waking up at 5 a.m. Every day to make it to the methadone or Suboxone clinic.
You're a heroin addict.
So this way you can keep up with your addiction and nobody wants to be sick. People don't realize at first you're taking these pills to feel good, and before you know it, you're taking these pills just to feel normal,
just to function.
And just to function, just to wake up, just to eat, just to walk to the corner store. People will eventually need to take these narcotics just to be human.
But who's to blame? Is it the doctors? Is it the pharmaceutical companies? Who's to blame for the whole
honestly,
thing?
everybody's to blame. Everybody's to blame because what happens is people go to the doctor, and then again, the doctors are doing their job. Somebody comes in to have chronic pain, back pain, whatever the pain might be. Somebody had surgery, and the doctor will prescribe them some form of opiate or a codeine, for them to kind of
take the pain away.
Yeah, it definitely takes the edge off. But you know what? It's and that's how it all starts basically. Then I've noticed that a lot of people who's never taken, let's say, an opioid medication, let's say,
Painkiller.
and then they suffer from a broken leg, for example, certain doctors will prescribe a regimen of pills that's a little bit too long. And what happens is a lot of people don't really realize that you get physically dependent on it after about a month of use, consistent use. So they'll suffer from these withdrawal symptoms. And when they start to come off the pills, what happens is they say to themselves, "Oh my God, I'm feeling so much worse. The pain is still there. I need more."
Right, the
And
body comes out of
unfortunately-
shock.
yes, unfortunately, in society, what happens is a lot of these doctors, they go against their medical oath, which says do no harm. And instead of recognizing this as a pattern of, let's say, some doctors, I guess, don't care. But
Oh, yeah,
instead
they
of
know the
recognizing
pattern.
the pattern of withdrawal, what they do is they agree with the patient and
And
just
they-
write them out another prescription.
Exactly, or boost up
'Cause
the
I think,
dosage.
bottom line is doctors make money of every prescription they
Of
write.
course.
They get that from the pharmaceuticals. I think that's what, continues to keep the cycle alive. But a lot of the doctors fail to recognize this, and instead of writing out the prescription for more opiate-based painkillers, let's say, they could easily have written out a prescription for some kind of an opiate antagonist, let's say, like naloxone, or there's a medication, I believe, it's
Why
called
does that-
Suboxone,
why does
which
that have to
is
be a pill
also
for?
used in pain management therapy. It's a great way to manage, let's say, your withdrawal symptoms and pain at the same time.
Well, why would you even have to get to a withdrawal system? Why can't you just tell you to go do physical therapy and fix it any other way instead of a pill?
actually,
I understand if you had your
Well,
leg
let's-
broken
let's-
and you're in severe pain, that's one
That's
thing.
understandable, but however, some people aren't as privileged. Let's say you're in a wheelchair. What are you going to do at rehab? Or you have a serious injury where pain seriously
Well,
needs
yeah,
to be
that's
managed.
that's understandable.
You know what I'm
but,
saying? That's
if you go in with a pinched nerve and you get an oxy's highest degree and then you're really sick, there's no need for it. They should just give you regular physical therapy or some kind of muscle relaxant, no opiate, none that's narcotic.
Well, that's the thing, guys. When you have chronic pain, for example, when you have chronic pain, let's say you were involved in a car accident or some sort of accident, fell off a ladder, motorcycle, whatever the case might be. And
But that's legit pain. It's not like
it's
you may
it's
believe.
legit pain, and the doctors try to treat it the best way they can. Now, let's be honest. Not all doctors are knowledgeable of what they're doing.
Not at
No.
all.
Some of them are just, they're book smart. They made it through medical school, etc. They're just there to make a living. Some doctors care. Some doctors just don't give two shits
No,
about
90% of them
nothing,
don't care.
about nothing more than making a living. So the problem we have here is people are going to these doctors. They're getting these pain pills prescribed to them. And but one thing that doctors don't understand is they never been addicts. I mean, there are doctors that have been, but for example, you go to a doctor, he doesn't know the first thing of taking a pain pill. He just knows what he read in his textbooks and what his professors taught him.
Right, what that
Now-
pill fixes.
Exactly. So if you're taking a certain amount of pills, if you're taking 4 pills a day, in 30 or 31 days in a month, after a couple of months, or let's even say after 6 months, your body becomes immune to these pills. And what happens there is it's not enough. It doesn't take away the pain the same way it did when you first initially started taking these pills 6 months prior.
Right, so they up the dosage on you.
They up the dosage. For example, one story I've heard of one guy who was involved in the motorcycle accident, and this was in the state of Florida. And what happened to him was he went to a doctor. He was prescribed pain pills, a certain amount. I forgot what they were. And he was taking, I believe it was Roxacettes, 30 milligram Roxacettes, and Percocet 10 milligrams, from my understanding. From
Wow,
what
that's
I
a lot of
remember.
pills.
AKA the bananas, right?
Exactly.
Bananas and the blue
The
guys.
bananas and the blue guys, exactly. And, they started him out, I think he said on 120 of one and 90 of the other. I don't remember which was which.
But that's a lot of pills.
That was 5 years ago. It is a lot of pills. So he started taking it. He told me the story, when he heard about the idea that I had for this Pill Addicts website.
Mhm.
And he explained himself to me and his history. And I was curious just to hear what he had to say. And he went to this clinic, and the doctors in this clinic would change every month to 2 months. And he said the doctors were always they were senior citizens. They were elderly, in their 60s, 70s, or 80s. And the doctors were so old that they couldn't even write the prescriptions themselves. They had an assistant filling them out because they were so old they couldn't even see what they were writing. Half of the time, he told me that a couple of times the doctor would argue with the assistant, and obviously it's a pill clinic. It's
It's a pill mill.
It's a pill mill, exactly. And the doctor would argue and say, listen, that's too much, or that's, this can kill the person. And she said, no, this is what the patient has been taking, and this is what we're going to keep giving him or her. So, long story short, eventually he worked himself up to, I believe it was 180 of each. And he told me he came to New York, and he came all the way up to 240
Pills a
I
month?
believe the maximum amount they can give you,
maximum
right?
amount by law, 240 of each.
Right.
The
How long-
blues and the yellows. Roxacets, which are the blues, and yellows, which are the Percocet 10
Well,
milligrams.
what is he? Pretty much high the whole day?
Pretty much. I mean, he said, listen, the pain is just out of control. From what he said, he had a pinched nerve and herniated discs. I mean, he couldn't make love to his girlfriend. He couldn't get out of bed half of the time. He was just in a bad place in life.
Yeah, but taking the pill is just like a Band-Aid fix. It's not actually fixing the problem.
No,
It's just
of course.
covering
He
it up.
understands that, but the point is the doctors did what they did. They got him up to that dose.
Right, now there's no going back.
This is the catch. Until recently, the doctor he was seeing in New York decided to stop providing her patients with any narcotics because she was being
Investigated?
being investigated, and she was a great doctor from what he said. She was being investigated constantly, DEA, FBI.
Well, yeah, because that's a typical practice. Because the DEA can see, unlike Florida, where they have a lot of the prescription tracking systems here, so they can see which doctor is writing how many prescription on a monthly basis. So what they do is they actually start ordering doctors that write a high amount of prescriptions. So she probably just fell into that category. She was writing over the threshold of what they consider a lot, and then they went to looking in her shit like they always do.
Well, the thing was, he told me she decided to let go all of her patients that were receiving narcotics, and she also advised them that they can stay for physical therapy if they chose to, but they'll need to seek narcotics elsewhere. So what he did, he went and searched for a doctor that would obviously provide him with the same amount of pills, because coming off 240 of each type of pill, without slowly working your way down will be very hard for anybody. I mean, a person can actually die. The body will go into such shock that a person can literally die from it.
Absolutely.
So he went around searching and searching. He found a couple places. One doctor said, "What are you, crazy?" She gave them a reference letter and everything, and this doctor just so you could understand how idiotic and stupid some of these doctors are. I mean, they should seriously check the mental stability of some of these doctors before they give them a license and send them on their way for medical school. This guy told him that he doesn't really, and mind you, he's a pain management doctor who prescribes narcotics on a daily basis. Obviously, pain management consists of pain management. Whether it's with physical therapy and narcotic pills to kind of make the pain go away, or just physical therapy. But obviously, being he's a pain management, he does prescribe narcotic medications, such as opiates of all types.
Nice.
He told this person that he doesn't know much about pills, but he knows he can't write that much, and he doesn't understand what's going to happen. What's the difference if you take 240 or 120? Which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
And this is the doctor now.
And this is the doctor telling the patient. So he's telling me he's having a really hard time finding a doctor. Obviously, he has a valid reason to be taking these narcotics. He has the MRIs to prove it. He's been taking them for 5+ years. The person that limps, he's just in a bad place in life. And he's still having a hard time. He's saying that every doctor he goes to, now they make you fill out a form. Get back to topic. We were talking about doctor shopping. And I got off track for about half an hour there. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. By all means, Batty.
So they make you actually fill out a form. It's a contract the doctor makes you sign, from what he said, that states that you are not allowed to have any drugs prescribed to you within the 30-day period of time from when you visited last.
Unacceptable.
So for what he said is the doctor prescribed. This was the funniest thing. This never mind, the doctor's a complete idiot from what I see, and from just that's my assumption.
Right.
He gave him a 2-week dose, of 120 of each of the pills, and he made him sign the contract. Now, how does that make sense? He's telling you not to go doctor shopping, right? He's giving the patient, only a 2-week dose of what he normally takes. What does he expect the person to do? See, so it kind of brings a patient, a law-abiding citizen, a person who needs these medications to get by on a daily basis, to function, to get up and go to the bathroom, to go to work, etc. This person is going to have to go to the streets, to the black market, to buy these pills so he can survive. So it's kind of like a revolving door. This whole pill epidemic, everything going on with these pills in general. When doctors turn you down, you have no choice but to go on the streets and look for these pills because you can't live without them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And a lot of people who aren't even these things, from what I understand, are actually pretty expensive out in the street. So it actually resorts people to try even other things, like, let's say, they don't have a lot of money, they start resorting to using other opiates, in fact. And it's just a big problem out there. And, I'm saying a lot of, it even spilled out into the youth, because a lot of the parents, let's say, who've had these in like their medicine cabinet, this has become so popular that the kids will be taking their prescriptions
kids don't have to
from
go
them
into the
these
street and
days.
see a drug dealer. They just go in their bathroom and they get high.
Let me just say this. In today's day and age, where supposedly all these doctors and all these places and medicinal, like scientists and research companies, if apparently they can now grow organs from stem cells and they could print organs, But when it comes to pain management, we really can't do better than opioid-based pills. Really? I mean, personally, I believe it's a little bit bullshit if you think about it. And it's got to be some kind of money-making scheme, because how much money are they making, if you think about it, from these opiate-based prescriptions?
Oh, they're making a killing.
Because it's repeat customers nonstop. You know, a lot of people will grow dependent, and they need these medications. And really, we can't do any better than that. It's 2012. They got to be able to do something, because frankly, this epidemic is already an embarrassment. It really shouldn't be like this, especially from something that's regulated by the DEA, and you know, and it's coming out of the American, whatever, the Center for Medicine or Medicinal Studies. I forget the name, the abbreviation for it, but regardless of the fact, I think they should at least be trying to make something that's just as effective, but not as addictive. I know they are able to do it if they put their minds to it. They certainly would save a lot of lives. But, for, you know, as the evidence points, I don't think they want to save lives. They just want to make money. It's all business.
Yep, that's all it is business.
You know, if they're not making money from the medications, then, you know, that can't be the situation. Their whole MO is making money off these medications. So if they can find a therapy that lets you stay on the medication for as long as possible, they will suppress other therapies that are quicker than that, because they'll make more money selling the medicine. It's like, let's take AIDS, for example. Perhaps if they put more money and research into it, there might have been some sort of cure or a better, you know, a better therapy for it. But AIDS medications are so expensive, and you need so many of them, that they're not really looking that hard for a better solution, because that solution works just fine for them. Insurance companies pay out a buttload of money for these pills and these medications, and the pharmaceuticals are happy with that. They're money-making companies. They are not on your side.
No, they're not.
And they've never been, and they never will be.
I mean, look at the way things are going. I mean, with this pill epidemic, this guy David Laffer, he was sentenced to life for the 4 people he executed in Long Island. Now, this guy was, from what I understand, a decorated Army veteran, and he was addicted to pain pills. His girlfriend was addicted to pain pills.
Now, who is this guy? That name sounds familiar to me.
David Laffer. He actually pleaded guilty to the first-degree murder in the June holdup of it was a Haven Drugs in Medford, Long Island.
This was the asshole from Long Island that tried to rob a pharmacy and ended up shooting up all the witnesses, where he could have just walked out of the store.
Exactly.
Now, before getting further in the story, I just want to say this, and think about this for a moment. Physical dependency on these types of medications is so profound that the better idea, when you don't have it, for this guy at least, is to do that. That's profound addiction. That's profound dependency. The fact that you would have to resort to something like this in order to get a fix. That sort of thing, people who aren't familiar with addiction certainly would have struggled to understand. But someone like me, with past experience of working with people with addiction, and being a speaker at H&I events for NA and stuff like that, I have experience with this, and
Well, never mind that. How about just recently this happened? I believe it was a week or so ago. An off-duty federal law enforcement agent.
Ah, yes, the guy who worked for ATF. He got shot trying to stop the guy robbing the pharmacy.
He was responding to an armed robbery in a pharmacy in Long Island as well.
Yes, this was another Long Island.
And he was shot. And actually, the person who was responsible for the shooting and the robbery, he had taken money and painkillers from the store before he was killed. He was killed, from my understanding.
If you guys want to know more about this topic, there's actually the second part to the documentary Oxycontin Express, which I believe is called Gateway to Heroin. They did go more into this topic because the pharmacy robberies, the way they originated from, it was a group of kids from Boston that started doing this, that realized they could get a lot more money robbing the actual medications from the pharmacy than you would actually robbing the pharmacy. And they're the ones who started this trend, and that documentary kind of goes into it. You do a little interview with these guys. But basically, that's where it started from, and that's crazy. The pharmacy by my house in Staten Island, there's a Russian pharmacy there, runs along Highland Boulevard. They actually stopped dispensing Oxy because that pharmacy was already robbed 4 times this year alone, in 2011, not 2012. Hopefully, that's going to be a better year for everybody.
Hopefully.
But sticking back to the topic, that pharmacy's been robbed 4 times already, and other pharmacies on the island are actually stopping dispensing oxycodone. I know from some people that I've heard that CVS doesn't take new customers, but they'll dispense to people that are already put into their system. So the problem has become so bad that pharmacy don't even want to deal with this. They don't even want to dispense it anymore, and which is bad because genuine people who genuinely need this medication for their disorders, people with cancer and stuff like that, because of this epidemic being so bad, they have a more limited access to their medication now than ever before.
Yes.
So
this is very true. I mean, all you doctor shopping, pill addicts out there need to start just going to one doctor. Keep it simple. If you're an addict, you need to seek some help. And if you don't want to seek help, keep it simple. Go to one doctor, take your meds, and live your life.
Yeah, definitely get help.
No reason to go doctor shopping. If you need to make money, get a job.
Yes, definitely. I guess if you think about it, Oxy has got to cause a lot of unemployment as well. I mean, how long can you keep up the charade before your world crumbles around you?
Yeah, but they all trade down to heroin, so...
Not everybody. That's not
majority.
true.
They were actually saying that recently. I read an article.
But yes, I guess from the fact that the street price for these medications is so high, that the next logical alternative, when you've pawned everything you own and robbed everybody you possibly know you can rob, that would be the next logical step for an addict to take. And I've seen a lot of people take this self-destructive path, and it's really not good for anybody. And, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing. Especially when you see a lot of the, and you see this a lot of the younger teenage girls hanging out with the guys that have the medication, that sell the medication, and they use this to, they get their girlfriends hooked or their friends hooked, and, it's a road down to nowhere from there. You can only imagine the types of things that happen then, So,
all right, let's go to something else.
You guys want to go to break?
Yeah,
Let's take a break.
All right. This is Lenny, Al, and Dr. Ed in the house for PillAddicts.com, and we'll be right back after this.
Are you abusing your medicine cabinet? Do you suffer from prescription pill addiction, like Oxy, Roxy, Xanax, Valium, Methadone, Suboxone, Ambien, Percocet, and Vicodin? Did your doctor prescribe you pills that you can't live or function without? PillAddicts.com should be your next step to live a normal life. PillAddicts.com and you can stop the prescription pill epidemic in America today.
And we're back. Thanks for joining in. You're listening to Addiction Universe with myself, Al, my main Lenny over there. And
Hola.
Eddie A.
Eddie A., also known as the Good Doctor, but I guess not anymore.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, definitely. If it's your first time tuning in or you was catching the show in the background and one of your friends was listening to it, this Addiction Universe, where we talk about all things drugs. And if you have a question or some kind of comment or you want to join in the conversation, check out PillAddicts.com. That's the forum. That's where all the questions go. And we will do our best to go through all the most recent questions and perhaps discuss the topic. We're also in the process of setting up a live chat for you guys so you could tune in and, be live, and at some point in the near future, hopefully, you'll be able to call in with your questions as well. So,
via Skype.
We're working on that, and Lenny will definitely help us out.
That's my main mayonnaise.
We're all right. Let's get with it.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook. Make sure to like us, like our page on Facebook, Pill Addicts.
Yes, definitely check out the PillAddicts.com
and
Facebook
Twitter
page. You could actually post your questions to the Facebook page group as well. For those of you who, are constantly trolling on Facebook and would like to only use one window to do things, definitely a great medium. Definitely click the like button, tell your friends about it, tell your parents about it, you know, we're trying to help kids out there and people with problems. So let's get right back into it. During the break, we were discussing a topic about how a lot of addicts these days, because opiate medications being so expensive, actually switch to heroin, which I don't know about, you know, about a lot of other places, but I know here in the Appalachian region and the Northeast, basically, they call, especially down south around the Virginia, West Virginia area, oxycodone a lot of the time is being referred to as hillbilly heroin. But because of the epidemic becoming so bad and prices going up so high, people actually switch back to heroin as being the primary heroin because the medication is too expensive to afford for a lot of people, and it makes a lot of other people very, very, or puts them on a financial, stable financial footing, so to say, because there's a lot of money to be made here, you know, and a lot of people do, and you know, this is why this is such a big issue these days.
But just keep in mind, law enforcement will catch up with you eventually. So
it's just a matter of time.
Keep your noses clean, and stay on the straight and narrow, and find a job. You know, there's no reason for you to turn to selling narcotics as a living, because you will end up in jail or worse, and it's just not worth it in the long run.
A lot of the people that do that as well do it actually not to make money, but to support their own habit.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The habit can become quite expensive, and think about all the kids that are involved with who have parents who are addicted to these sorts of things, and you know, I feel bad for them because all the money seems to go just on feeding the habit.
Just think about the lives you're ruining.
Yeah,
it's just
not worth it. There was actually a couple of stories that happened out here in Long Island, especially one last week where a guy, we mentioned this earlier during the last segment, that the pharmacy robberies, that's big too. In fact, we even have there was a story that happened in Brooklyn, New York a few months back where a police officer who was on disability, because of a work-related injury, I believe that was the case, he had Percocet prescribed to him, and after a year of being on it, the doctor took him off. He couldn't get any more pills on the street. So what ended up happening is his withdrawal symptoms got so bad and unmanageable, he decided to go rob a pharmacy. But he got caught. So the addiction is that profound to where you have police officers who should know better, and probably do know better, feeling so desperate and so out of options that they would resort to doing something like that. A lot of other people who never had a lot of money to begin with switch back to heroin. In fact, you know, we have a story here from News Channel 5. It's NBC's affiliate station down in Florida, and they did a little bit of a bit in regards to the whole switching back to heroin thing. So let's play a clip from that.
South Florida law enforcement makes its headway in fighting pill mills. There is concern now that heroin could be the drug moving in to fill the void for addicts. Oxycodone and heroin are made up of similar chemicals. Many oxycodone addicts have been taking the pills the same way addicts take heroin, by sniffing and injecting. Dozens of pain clinics have already been shut down. Florida's pain pill database kicked in last month. It helps to log every pain drug prescription purchase in an attempt to keep track of doctors and patients that might be abusing the system.
Okay, so that was the clip, and it mentions a few things in particular, especially, and this I've noticed seems to be the pattern, especially among with many people I've met who are going through the recovery process, is they start off, first they take the pill, then they up the dosage. Then once that kind of fades out, they start resorting to other methods of ingesting, sort of like sniffing or smoking. Once that no longer does the kick, they actually start injecting it, and it becomes an IV drug, sort of like heroin. It's very much the same thing. And a lot of people are actually, at first, you know, they're scared of heroin because, unlike the oxycodone, where you know what's in the pill, you know that it's formulated correct, and you know you're going to get the same kind of high from it, you know, are actually resorting to using it as an IV drug. And then, you know, everything is basically a never-ending roller coaster with this, and, you know, it will suck all the life out of you. And then a lot of people switch to the heroin because it's much cheaper, and because of the uncontrolled, poppy farming in Afghanistan, worldwide heroin has gotten much cheaper over the years. and a lot more accessible. In fact, they say that the state of New Jersey, and this is a fact that I've heard on the radio, the state of New Jersey now has one of the cheapest priced and most pure heroines, most pure heroin that you can buy in the whole country. And that's just an appalling fact. And definitely the whole oxycodone plague is definitely helping to facilitate the situation. So it's bad times out there, bad times. But you know what? You're better off without it than with it. And trust me on this. I speak, to be honest with you guys, I speak as a recovered addict. And I've been on this bandwagon, and I would like to help other people get off, or perhaps get some understanding that you can get help, and it's not as hard as it sounds. I've always thought I would be one of those people that would never get help, because, I'm one of those people that doesn't ask for help. But eventually it gets so bad you have no other option, and you realize how bad your life is and how much things you've missed out on and how much life it's sucked out of you. It sucks all the creativity out of you. And it feels, I guess, at a certain point where you're so deep in your addiction, you feel helpless and you feel worthless. And sometimes you can even feel like you're not even worth being helped, because, your self-image gets so destroyed and so distorted that, it's completely bad time to be a human being. But we are here to help. Definitely check out pilladdicts.com forum. Post your questions on there. We'll try to get to as many as we can and try to help you guys as much as we can. So no matter what the questions is, ask it. The stupid question is one that's never asked.
And keep in mind, to all the people out there that are addicted and are currently using narcotics, pain pills, or any types of narcotics, it's never too late to quit. It's never
Absolutely.
too late to turn around and take your life in a different direction. I'm sure, whoever's listening right now, like I said, if you're currently, getting high, or if you're high right now, or whatever the case might be, it's never too late. It's never too late.
You're
to
a heroin
turn around
addict.
and change your pattern and your ways of life. And there's always somebody out there that's willing to help you, whether it be
Absolutely.
a family member, a friend,
Absolutely.
whatever it might be. There's plenty of rehabs that you can contact that your insurance might cover, and the government is always willing to help as well. The question is, are you ready? You can
And you know
can
what?
lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it, and you got to
Absolutely.
remember that.
And absolutely, you know what? We're going to set up a live chat for you guys, and somebody will always be in it. And in case you need somebody to talk to, completely anonymously, sometimes you don't even want to use your voice, but if you need somebody to talk to, get some advice, do something like that, help, you need somebody to refer you to something, you're wondering if something is safe, there'll be somebody there to help you. There's always, it's always better when you have somebody on your side or somebody who understands. And as from my past experiences, I know that's what a lot of people look for. So definitely check it out. And as soon as it's posted, we'll let you guys know right live right on the show. I'm at a loss of words here.
You can send us your any question you might have. Post it on Facebook. We're real
Yes,
people.
we
We're
also
real
got the
people,
Facebook page for you
real
guys.
people. Addicts and recovering addicts. Here sharing our stories with you, and more than happy to answer your questions to the best of our ability.
You could be
You
completely
have the link
anonymous
for
if you
the
want
Facebook
to.
page, or they could just search for Pill Addicts. How would they find us
You
on
can just
Facebook?
search for Pill Addicts. You go to Facebook, you put PILL space ADDICTS, and it will come up. The
Same
Pill
thing in
Addicts
Google.
page.
You could just
Okay.
Google Pill Addicts, and we should be on the first page.
We also have a Twitter.
Right.
Twitter, Pill Addicts. We have MySpace.
Yeah, definitely Tweeter that.
We have
that's good.
we have a YouTube page as well, which we will be adding the audio of this show on, and keep it updated as much as possible.
Right.
So, like I said, there's many ways you can contact us, and feel free. And like I said, we will answer your questions to the best of our ability.
Right. So that's basically it. Right now, we're going to go into some of your questions on our forum on pilladdicts.com, see what you guys talk about. We'll go a little deeper into your discussions, maybe answer some questions. And let's begin. And a lot of the topics, can be found on the forum at, pilladdicts.com. It's www.pilladdicts.com. And if you have suggestions of topics to bring about, there's actually a link there on the home page that says suggest a topic to talk about. Or just ask your questions right on the forum or via our Facebook page. Just, search for Pill Addicts, and you will see our Facebook page on there. You can ask any question you want. We'll bring it up right here on the show. So
Let's get going.
here we go. We're going to get into questions that you guys have been asking and wondering about from the forum. And here we go. Junior member Trosh asks, he writes, whenever I try to stop taking my pills, I find myself having a drink, or I might eat a lot of food. Is there any way to just be normal? If I'm going to put down one bad thing and pick up another, why even quit in the first place? And this is actually a pretty good topic, because I've noticed personally myself, back when I've had a problem with these drugs, it seems that, once you stop one addiction, and a lot of people do the same thing, is they pick up something else, like drinking or smoking or whatever other drug, it may be. Any thoughts on this? Perhaps you guys had experience with somebody that was substituting one substance for another.
Well, what I think our listeners and everybody out there should do. Let's say you stop abusing some sort of narcotic. Let's say oxys, for example. By nature, you're going to look for something else to keep yourself occupied with.
Yeah, we rather you abuse your penis than another drug.
Well, you should probably occupy yourself with working
or Wall Street
or working out or both.
But what happens when somebody gets so used to one narcotic they can't function with it, and they think they're doing better work on the drug than without the drug?
Well, realistically, you're not. It's all figment of your imagination. Let's be honest. If you're on narcotics, and this happened to all of us, for example, when we're taking an Oxy, for example, or Roxy, or whatever the case might be, we feel like we're functioning better and we're more persistent and we're more exact with everything we do, and that's in our minds.
Yeah, but still, that's how it works.
To be fair, just to add this, what happens is opiates, I believe, or opioids in general, are produced in the body naturally to help regulate happiness or whatever. This is why they get so profoundly addictive, because they activate that reward part of the brain. And that's why you feel like you're better at so many other things, because it's making you feel great about these things. And that's why, people get hooked on it.
Well, the only thing you are better at is
sex life.
Sex, because actually there's two things.
Scratching yourself.
Yeah, it's you're better at sex because
yes, it does make you last longer in a sex.
Exactly, your body is numb, and realistically speaking, depending on the kind of girlfriend you have, she might like the physical pounding abuse, but
of the vajayjay.
Most girls prefer a man that enjoys the sex and not just does it because he's trying to achieve ejaculation and keep it.
The only complaints I ever got was like, when are you gonna stop? When are you gonna finish?
Listen, personally, from my personal experience, this is what attracted me
to drugs
when I was younger to Oxy in the first place, and I first started off with the Percocet 10 milligrams, and I used to take those when I was with a girl, because it really does make you Superman in bed.
It enhances everything.
It went from 5 to 10 minutes to I could do it for an hour, and I thought of myself my Superman. So that's how it started. I take it, but at the same time, that addictive mentality in my brain said, this is not so bad. It's great during sex, but I think it's great during anything. I talk a lot faster, makes me more comfortable. I don't feel as cold,
more confident,
and you forget, especially if you're early and you're starting out and you may be kind of young and you don't know. You think to yourself, how bad can this stuff really be? I mean, it's a medicine. It's prescribed to my grandmother,
it's legal,
my father, whatever the case may be. How bad can it be if they take it as a medication? And they don't know that in reality it's really a synthetic heroin.
Oh, it's not bad. It just ruins your life.
Yeah, it's a synthetic heroin. You get profound
which-
physical dependency.
Which brings me back to the question: is how do you bypass that?
How do you bypass that?
Doing
Well,
things better on drugs, not to promote them or
Pharma,
anything, but
which is the maker of OxyContin, they're the ones who originally came up with the OxyContin medication, introduced a while ago a new reformulation of their 80 milligram tablets, the OxyContin, the OC80s as they call them. And what happens is they've reformulated the pill to where they have a new coating on top of it. Now, there's different ways that this drug is ingested and used by addicts. One of them is snorting the drug. Now, what they did with this reformulation is
they made it thicker,
reformulated
right?
tablets. Well, actually,
So you
I have a
couldn't crush
clip
them.
queued up here.
So
I have
you-
a clip queued up here that talks about the new OxyContin reformulation. So let's take a listen.
Melrose Pharmacy is a small place, but a potential target nonetheless for thieves looking for drugs. They have cameras throughout, but owner Larry Yee says what keeps many of the thieves away is a simple phone call asking for a rapidly disappearing commodity.
And they ask us if we have the old OxyContin, but fortunately, they don't make that anymore.
In August, the maker of OxyContin, Purdue Pharma, began producing a new formulation. It has a special coating which is supposed to make it more difficult to crush and snort. But some patients who need the drug to control pain say it's just not as effective.
I do hear from some people saying the new formulation doesn't seem to work as well for them. But then I've had other people that have switched over to the new formula without any problems whatsoever.
In October, Purdue put out this letter to doctors which acknowledged problems with swallowing pills but said nothing about the drug's effectiveness. A company spokesman tells us the drug is designed to be bioequivalent, meaning it would be just as effective as the old formulation. Meantime, the FDA is gathering complaints about the drug along with the manufacturer. So far, however, there are no plans to change the formula for those who say they really need it. Steve Irvin, ABC 15 News.
And that was the clip there from ABC affiliate ABC 15 talking about the new reformulation. And statistically, what I've noticed is a lot of the people that used to abuse the OC80s now use it as a last resort when they can't get anything else. So this new reformulation, which makes these pills basically uncrushable, so you can't sniff it. And
But-
the most brilliant part about it is when you try to dissolve it with water prior to shooting it, or slamming it as they call it in the streets, it turns into a snot-like substance. It turns to gel. So you can't draw it up with a syringe anymore. And that's been helping save a lot of lives. Now, however, there's other brands and other formulations, especially of the different chemical oxycodone,
right, like the
which is very
generic kind.
similar to OxyContin. It's pretty much the same thing.
It's
same
a generic
effect.
version of it.
It's no, it's not a generic. I guess that's the chemical name for it, but they're both different.
Let me just
But
ask
the
you a
bottom
question.
line being is,
What does crush proof actually mean? You can't
Crush proof?
If
Well,
I hit it with a hammer in the
if you
bag,
hit it
it's
with
going
a
to be
hammer,
crushed.
It's like compressed cotton, and you
Okay.
can't really turn cotton into powder. That's the kind of consistency this new formulation
Okay.
has. It turns it into cotton.
Okay.
So even if you were to smash it with a hammer, it doesn't do anything. All it turns into, it just gets smushed. That's it.
Oh, that sucks.
It's like cotton, basically. And it turns to gel when you put it. And it's been a very great deterrent, and it probably saved a lot of lives, I would say, from people especially who were slamming the drug. Now,
Guys, I just wanted to say, ladies and gentlemen, don't take this wrong. We're not saying all people that consume pain pills are
A drug addict.
necessarily drug addicts. I mean, a lot of us, have taken them because we need them. For example, because of an injury or whatever the case might be.
yes, which is admirable, and it's not bad if you need the drug.
Yeah, use it for what it's for.
Use the
Don't
drug.
abuse
If you
it.
have some sort of pre-existing condition, and that's the only way that you can get your pain under management, God bless. But we're here for those people that realize they have a problem with it.
When it's
or
too late already.
Doing this to just abuse the drug and no other reason.
But let's be honest, even if you are taking a drug, for example, like I've taken in the past because of an injury that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life, and I have no other choice but to take a pain pill on a daily basis multiple times as needed, as prescribed by my doctors, I have no other choice. But I am also labeled as a pill addict, and in all reality, if you're taking a pill, even if you're not a straight up heroin smack sniffing, snorting, shooting junkie. Whichever way, we're all addicts, because at the end of the day, if a person,
We're all addicted to one thing or another.
exactly,
It's just,
well, you know, if a person that's prescribed these medicines because he genuinely needs them, and he tries to stop using these narcotics, he will also face and have to endure the withdrawals that these narcotics,
like diarrhea and vomiting.
diarrhea, vomiting, etc. You know, and you need to understand that at the end of the day, we are all addicts. You might not want to believe it. I didn't. Nobody does. But at the end of the day, we are who we are. When we go to our doctors, you know, as one of our members recently has, and the doctor treated him like a complete criminal. And that's not right. I've been getting a lot of these complaints, you know, when meeting with members or speaking with members through our threads and our posts on pilladdicts.com, and everybody has said the same complaint. You know, if you were involved in a car accident, you're missing a limb, if you're, you know, whatever the case might be, you have chronic back pain, and you can't function without the narcotic. And exactly. And these doctors, because of the media and everything else going on out there, because of all the sniffing and shooting drug addicts and
the abuse,
the killers
that's going on.
You know, the people that are robbing these pharmacies and killing innocent people,
This is purely out of desperation.
just to get their hands on these narcotics, are making a bad name for everyone. Everyone that,
they're
like myself,
access
exactly,
to the people that actually need
exactly,
it.
because believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there's plenty of people that actually need these on a daily basis,
like
just
cancer
to
patients,
get by,
kids with
just to
leukemia.
wake up, get out of bed, go to work, and function. You know, just to sit up in bed. You know, like myself, I have chronic back pain.
Yes.
You know, without a pain pill, at times I can't roll out of bed. I can't sit up.
Well, that might have to do with your diet, sir. Not just the chronic pain.
Yeah, never mind the fact that the pills made me a fat bastard because I hold water. But anyways, long story short, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, we are all addicts. If you smoke cigarettes, if you're taking diet pills on a daily basis because you're addicted to looking, you know, feeling thin or being thin, or if you're taking Xanax for depression, or if you're taking a Tylenol 3 on a daily basis because you have pain, you're an addict. You're an addict because you are using something on a daily basis, and you have no other choice. So don't make excuses up for yourself, because at the end of the day, we are who we are.
Yeah, but
absolutely. And now to get back on topic for a second about the substitution of drugs of one to the other. This is something that, in my past experience, I've pretty frequently suffered from, and
alcoholism.
I can understand how, let's say, after you finish your opiate withdrawals, it's very hard to manage yourself mentally, and it's very easy to just say, well, yes,
screw it.
But I need something to still get through the day, whether it to be smoke weed or get a little bit of a nightcap before you go to sleep. You know, as an addict, you may have dropped that one substance, but
you picked up two other ones.
What you need to do is examine your life and see, why do I need to get high in the first place? What kind of... Usually there's sort of a lot of underlying psychological reasons as to why people do drugs. They use them to fill a void of some sort. So if you notice yourself switching from one substance to the other, try looking into some therapy or some kind of support.
Get a hobby, start jogging, working out.
Look deep and try to figure out as to why what the issue is in your life and what you're trying to fill. There's a lot of, you know, you don't necessarily have to go to a psychiatrist. That could cost a couple $100 a session, even if you don't have such. You can go log on to Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous websites and see where meetings are in your area and try to get help for this problem. And speaking from personal experience, those places are filled with great people who are more than willing to help you. You know, and there's always somebody there who will talk to you. Even if you come in there and you don't feel like talking to anybody else, they'll pull you out. You know, you'll feel welcomed. You know, I know it can seem like an intimidating thing, But why, if you're trying to stop that whole cycle of self-abuse, definitely
It's not.
try to
It's
get
not
those
going to
things
happen.
off
You
your
have.
chest.
You have to go out of society. You have to leave wherever you are, be completely cut off. Because as long as you have access to drugs and you're an addict, you're going to find an excuse or a reason to go get drugs and to get high again.
Yeah, at a certain
Right.
point, you're just chasing
Right.
that first
Right.
high.
And if you can't afford it, you're just going to start drinking more heavily or something else. It's
At the end of the day, you have to occupy your time.
yeah, it's
That's
a never-ending
all that
cycle.
matters.
So
yes.
Whether it be with work, sex, masturbating, whatever makes you happy.
well, we had another question about Adderall, I believe, on the forum, right?
All right, what's the question there?
Somebody was asking if Adderall actually gives you energy. They saw it in an episode, I think, of Desperate Housewives. Let me just find it here.
Well,
Let's
it's not
see.
so much energy as it is. I
It's an
believe
upper.
the drug is designed to help you focus, and it's more of a stimulant, in the same manner that, let's say, a lot of cocaine, caffeine, taurine, pretty much anything ending with INE is a stimulant, and it will help you kind of feel focused.
It all depends on your chemical balance. In your
I would
brain.
actually try the natural alternative first, like coffee. They have some great energy stuff you could pick up at, I guess, CVS called.
Oh, like a Red Bull, a
Dynapep feels
Nas.
very similar to
Crystal meth.
Adderall, and it will help you sit and focus. It's a little thing of $2.99, but it's very strong. I actually think, personally, guys, to tell you the truth,
I think it should be illegal.
That company has a lawsuit
Yeah,
coming their
it
way
should be
because that's
illegal.
a very strong product for $2.99. I thought my heart was going to fall out of my chest.
I thought it was gonna
Last
jump
time I
out
picked
through
it
my
up at the gas
ears.
station. I said to myself, I can't believe this stuff is legal.
Yeah.
They're going to get a lawsuit. Someone's going to get heart failure, some kind of coronary from it, and then that company's going to get sued. Just mark my words. Mark my words. This will happen. It's it's bad times. So
Actually, Adderall has been a very big topic in universities and all college campuses. From my understanding, 99%
Of law
law
students.
students are actually taking Adderall to study and to
Yeah,
help
they
them
do cramming.
focus and keep themselves awake to study for their exams. And not only law students, but from my understanding, also medical students.
right.
Pre-med. I mean, listen, guys, if you want to study, do it the natural way, and the natural way is just to study and stay focused and party a little less, because when you're going to finish school, you're going to be making a lot more money, so you have a lot more time to party.
Also
Right?
keep
Doesn't
in
that
mind
make sense?
Yeah. Then you'll
Also
have
keep
more
in
money
mind
to.
that, taking stimulant drugs could be also very dangerous unless your doctor prescribed you and you actually have a problem with ADHD. Stay away from stimulants because you can develop a certain risk of heart problems.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that can happen. It destroys appetite, so just keep that in mind also.
Well,
when
that's
you're-
why I think most people are taking it too, because of the destroying their appetite.
Well, I think the problem is a lot of these shows these days are promoting drugs like House and Nurse Jackie
yeah,
and
they
whatever other
certainly
shows.
do glorify
Yeah,
the drug
they
use.
take the pain pills and they take the
Think about
uppers
it
and the
this way.
doubters.
I mean, it's become such a big part, these prescription pills, of modern day kind of like popular culture
Right.
and drug culture in general, that they're now making TV shows
Exactly.
where the main character actually has an
Is abusing
opioid
the drug.
problem.
It's like the crack epidemic in the 80s.
Yeah.
What's shocking to me is how many TV shows these days and how intertwined this whole drug theme is with media.
Yeah.
How many
I could
TV
name at
shows
least
have
4 or 5
something
from the
to
top
do
of my
with
head.
drugs or about drugs or have a main character.
But who's responsible for that? Is the pharmaceutical companies
No,
funding it, or
the
who's
That
funding
has
it?
nothing to do with
The
pharmaceutical.
prob-
it
the
has to do with
problem is-
ignorance in society when it comes to drugs. They're so glorified.
The problem is that these are legal prescription drugs.
Right, but you're not supposed to glorify it on public
It's
television where
Glorified.
kids
It's
are
more like
watching
a
it.
social commentary of what's happening out there in real life.
Right.
What I'm saying
Some-
is the problem's gotten so bad that they're actually making TV shows. Before what? You got TV shows, but it would be like maybe about marijuana.
Yeah, but
most
what if
likely.
my kid and she goes and watches Dr. House and she looks at him and she wants to be a
She's
doctor?
gonna learn-
Yeah, she's gonna learn that she's
learn
gonna
a lot
need.
more in public school than she's going to be
well,
off
she's
the
gonna need
television.
pain pills because
And
she
the bottom
wants to be
line
cool.
is, if you don't want your kids seeing drug content, don't let them watch the television.
Absolutely.
That's it. Another question we have from a junior member, Drake, on the PillAddicts.com forum. He writes, I've read that Suboxone has a side effect that causes breathing problems in some people. Does that mean it is not an option for people who have asthma? The
For
answer to
highly
that is
likely
I'm
is-
not a doctor, and that's. But I'll try to answer your question anyways. No, that's not true for all people. In
Well,
fact,
a lot
if
of
you
pain
are
pills
interested in
give you things with your upper respiratory slows down.
That's understandable. The bottom line is, if your doctor is prescribing you,
An inhaler?
Suboxone to manage with your withdrawal symptoms, obviously he should know about the asthma problem. So if he says it's okay, it's fine. However, if you have asthma and you're scared that this might be an issue, do consult a doctor anyways.
Yeah, second opinion it.
Yeah, ask a real doctor, get him to recommend what's what. Maybe he could put you on a methadone program instead. Maybe there's some kind of a different formulation of the antagonist, like a different formulation of the naloxone in the medication. So speak with him, see how it affects you. If you're planning to buy it illegally on the street, I don't recommend that, especially if you have a pre-existing asthma condition that might cause some complications. I know that for a fact that Suboxone's not really for everyone. Certain people get really sick. It will be like the worst withdrawals times 10. It's some sort of thing in the brain where naloxone affects them differently than most people.
And make sure you don't try to take any opiates while you're on Suboxone,
And
because
don't
you will
sniff
get
it.
really, really sick from that.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. If you're planning to take Suboxone to manage withdrawal symptoms, well, my recommendation would be try not to be on it more than 3 weeks to a month, because after that you're just basically back on the opiate train. And I know a lot of people are actually in rehab even. What they do is they start crushing up the Suboxone and sniffing it. You really just want to use it to help you and manage your withdrawal symptoms.
And move on.
But then again, you can't really help a person unless they want to help themselves.
Exactly.
And that's the bottom line. And we're here to support you if you are trying to help yourself. So any help you might need, always refer to pilladdicts.com.
All right, just
forum.
ask your
We're here to
questions,
help.
and we'll.
Another question comes from our junior member, Ann. She's worried about her boyfriend and morphine here. She writes, me and my boyfriend and I, my boyfriend and I, have been trying to get clean together. And I personally wish you guys the best of luck. And we're here to help if you ever need us. She's been clean a little over a month. And she thought he had been too. She writes, yesterday I went to get some ibuprofen out of the pill box. And lo and behold, there was some morphine in there. The thing is that we were not addicted to morphine before. But, to tell you the truth, Dan, they're all opioids, and they're all pretty much the same thing. So
They're all a drug.
if you're addicted to one, you're addicted to the other. She wants to ask us, what does this mean? Is he using morphine? And if I'm trying to stay clean, how could I stay with him if he's secretly still using? Now, maybe it's not going to be easy to hear, but if you're actually serious about staying clean and
You
he's
need to
not,
leave him.
think about,
Think about yourself
doing
first.
do it for yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If this guy is not serious about his recovery or your recovery, but you are, be serious about your recovery. No guy's worth it, especially one that also is using drugs and is actually trying to conceal the fact that he is using drugs.
As hard as it may
from
be, you have to think about yourself
There's
first.
nothing worse than two addicts trying to get clean, boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife, and one of them
Those are
It's
rare
like the
occurrences
falls
that
off
it works
the
out.
bandwagon. Because you know what?
If one
He's
falls,
gonna
the other
bring
one
you down.
falls, yeah.
He's going to bring you down. You got to be selfish sometimes in life.
Yeah, my personal recommendation is, you can't let the blind lead the blind. If you're serious in your recovery, you got to do it for yourself. Surround yourself with family. Maybe make some meetings. Check the list of local meetings in your area.
Stay positive.
Maybe try even NA is a great, but you could also go to like a state sponsored rehab program like we have here in New York. It's run by Oasis, and they're pretty good. So there's many ways, but again, just to reinforce the point, if you suspect that he's hiding drug use behind your back and he's not serious and he's keeping
Yeah, he's not going to quit. He's going to keep
opiate
getting high.
medications in the house when he
Right.
knows you have a problem, then
He's being selfish, so you should too.
you should leave him, and maybe even he'll realize what he's doing wrong and he'll take his recovery more serious. So But for now, just do it for yourself. It's the only way. Don't be dependent on anybody. There's plenty of support you could probably get from your family. They may not be
Happy about
very
it.
approving of your drug use per se, but they could definitely admire the fact that
You're
you're trying
trying
to
to.
get clean, and
Exactly.
they'll definitely be there for you.
They'd rather have you in the long run than have you, move on
Well,
and God forbid.
guys,
pass
I just
away.
wanted to say and leave you off with saying thank you for joining us today and listening to our first. This is our very first podcast
Yes.
here at Addiction Universe and PillAddicts.com.
Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to leave you off with, back in April, they had a drug take-back program which was sponsored by the DEA. You parents got to keep in mind, by you leaving prescription pain pills or any type of narcotic pills in your pill cabinets,
Somebody's going to get a hold of
somebody's
them.
going to get a hold of them. And what you need to do is look out or bring it into your nearest
Police,
precinct.
police station or
Any police station, or look out for these drug
Just
pill
make
take-back
sure-
programs.
Yeah, you bring your original prescription with
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
It's some
Yeah,
illicit
you
substances.
Definitely don't want to take loose pills in your pocket. Make sure
I
you
believe
bring
some
no longer-
churches also take some. If you go to our
They take this topic
PillAddicts.com,
very
you could probably
seriously.
get a list
it
of
out of
where
your
it is.
house, because
Yeah.
you know what? If your kid ends up taking a pill and liking it, you're going to be
Kicking yourself later.
You're going to be kicking yourself later, and it's going to be a lifelong hell ride for you. Let's just put it that way.
Plus, if you got that type of addictive personality, it's really not something you want laying around anyway.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Especially with kids and their friends coming over. Somebody's going to get a hold of them.
get it out of the
yeah,
house.
just bring them back, throw them out, flush them down the toilet,
Throw 'em
do
out.
something.
Exactly. Flush them down the toilet.
Just get 'em
Whatever
out
you
of
have
the
to
house.
do, get rid of them. Get them out of your house.
If you don't need,
Always.
Don't flush them down the toilet. That's actually some bad advice. A lot of the medications actually do pollute the water supply, so we rather
do.
you do bring it
but
to your local.
right, of course, that's
pill,
optimal.
What
Pill
kind of center is
take-back.
that called? The take-back
Yeah, it's the
center.
pill take back, which is
Yeah,
sponsored by the
Take
DEA.
it to a take-back center. Don't
Now,
sell
they
it.
don't ask
Be
any
part
questions.
Of the solution.
Even if you find them in your kid's room, you confiscate them from your kid or family member, whatever the case might be.
Yeah, definitely
and
turn
the
them in.
DA won't ask any questions. They just take them and dispose of them as they feel
And like
is
I said
necessary.
earlier, if you don't have the time to take them back and the only thing you have to do is flush them down the toilet, then you know what? Do it. That's my...
I've seen a lot worse things going
yeah,
on.
so did I. The thing that came out of me this morning is much worse than those little pills.
Anyways, thank you very much, guys. This is Alex, Lenny, and Eddie A signing out once again. Thank you for joining us on our first
And
podcast.
post your new questions.
And post your questions. I'm going to put up a new thread again on Pill Addicts today or tonight. With you just put questions up for Pill Addicts, and we'll be more than happy to answer any questions you might have for us. And stay tuned for, next week. We're going to have episode 2 of our podcast.
Oh yes.
Oh,
So
yes.
stay tuned. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, and you take care.
Thank you guys, and as always.
Have a nice day.